Seattle, what just happened? The Seahawks had the 49ers right where they wanted them: banged up, missing key players, vulnerable. And yet, instead of stepping on their throats, Seattle collapsed. This wasn't just a loss. This was a gut punch. And unless big changes happen right now, this season could spiral before it even begins. The Seahawks were supposed to walk out of Sunday's game with momentum. The 49ers were limping in, missing stars, and Seattle had the home crowd roaring behind them. Everything was lined up for a statement win, but instead, we watched another letdown. The offense stalled, the energy drained, and the game slipped away. And for me, it all starts with the running back room. Let's cut the sugarcoating. Zach Charbonnet looks like the guy. He's tough, decisive, and when he touches the ball, it feels like something good might happen. Even against San Francisco's defense, one of the toughest units in the NFL, he pushed forward, fought through tackles, and made the most of every carry. He looked hungry, like a back who wants to own this job. Now compare that to Kenneth Walker. It hurts to say it, but the spark we all remember from his rookie season just isn't there anymore. Walker averaged barely 2 yards a carry. 2 yards. Add in his receiving work, and he couldn't even crack 2 yards per touch. That's not just disappointing, that's drive-killing football. You can't win games when your feature back is putting you behind the chains every series. I know a lot of fans, and even coaches, still cling to that rookie season, the 1,000 yards, the big runs, the highlight plays. But maybe that was the anomaly. Maybe that was the peak. Right now, Walker looks like he doesn't fit this system, and Seattle can't afford to keep waiting for him to suddenly snap back into form. It might sound harsh, but this is the NFL. If you don't produce, you don't play. And right now, the truth is simple: Charbonnet should be the starter. Walker? Maybe he's trade bait. Maybe he finds success somewhere else. But in Seattle, it feels like his time as RB1 is over. Seahawks fans, I need to know where you stand. Should Pete Carroll hand the starting job to Zach Charbonnet right now? Or do you still believe Kenneth Walker can bounce back? Drop your answer in the comments, and rate your confidence in this Seahawks offense from 1 to 10. Let's see how this fan base really feels. Zach Charbonnet isn't just running hard, he's bringing energy. Every time he touches the ball, it feels alive. When he fights his way into the end zone, when he celebrates with his teammates, you can feel the electricity. The offensive line is pumped. The sideline is pumped. Even the defense feeds off it. That's what a true playmaker does, he changes the atmosphere. Kenneth Walker? Right now, it's the opposite. Too many negative plays. Too many wasted touches. He finished with just 20 yards, and if we're being real, most of that came on one single run. Outside of that? Nothing. You can't build an offense around that kind of inconsistency. Seattle needs Charbonnet carrying the load, period. But here's the bigger problem: the passing game is broken outside of one guy. Jackson Smith-Njigba. If he's not catching the ball, nobody else is. Look at the stat sheet: 9 catches, over 100 yards, 13 targets. JSN played like a superstar, shutting up all the critics who doubted him. He looked like a true WR1, and he did everything he could to carry this offense. But it can't all be on him. That's not sustainable. Defenses will adjust. They'll double him, shadow him, and force the ball out of his hands. And when that happens, who's stepping up? Cooper Kupp? He had chances, including a key third down, and he dropped it. That's not what we brought him here for. Torrey Horton? Barely visible. Tight ends? Ghosts. This isn't just about stats, it's about accountability. If you wear that Seahawks jersey, you've got to deliver in clutch moments. When your quarterback puts the ball in your hands, you've got to make that play. JSN can't be the only one bailing this team out. Seattle has too much talent to look like a one-man show. The message is simple: Charbonnet needs to be RB1, and every pass catcher not named JSN needs to wake up now. If this offense finds balance, Seattle will be dangerous. But if it stays like this, it's going to be a long, frustrating season. Seahawks fans, I want to hear it straight from you. Should Charbonnet officially take over as the starter? And outside of JSN, which receiver do you think has to step up the most next week? Drop your thoughts in the comments and rate your confidence in this passing game on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's be real, Sam Darnold wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great either. He played fine. But here's the truth, this game wasn't lost because of Darnold. It was lost because of the play calling. The offensive game plan collapsed the moment San Francisco adjusted. Robert Saleh and the 49ers came out of halftime with answers, while Clint Kubiak had none. That's what killed us. No creativity. No adjustments. No rhythm. It was like Seattle forgot its own identity. Think back to the preseason. What worked best? Running the ball. Controlling the line of scrimmage. Mixing in play action to keep defenses guessing. That's Seahawks football. But against San Francisco, it felt like we panicked. We lined up in shotgun over and over, became predictable, and walked right into the teeth of their defense. Zach Charbonnet was finding space early, and then he disappeared in the second half. Instead, the ball went back to Kenneth Walker, and the 49ers pinned their ears back. That's not on Walker, that's on the coaches. You can't ask your offensive line to sit back and block Nick Bosa in obvious passing downs all game. That's a recipe for disaster. And speaking of the O-line, I feel bad for Abe Lucas. He got beat a couple of times by Bosa, and fans will only remember that. But here's the truth, he was set up to fail. When you abandon the run and give Bosa the green light to attack every play, of course your tackle is going to get exposed. This wasn't just about one player getting beat, it was about bad coaching putting him in that position. And don't even get me started on Robbie Utes. We saw in preseason how effective he was as a blocker and even as a pass-catching option in play action. But in this game? Barely used. Why? When San Francisco stacked the box, that's when you bring in your fullback to deliver hits, to open lanes, to balance the defense. Instead, he was invisible. And when they did use him, it was only to block. No creativity, no surprise, nothing to throw the 49ers off. The tight ends? Same story. Barely a factor. 2 catches, that's it. In a game where you're begging for anyone to step up, that's unacceptable. Seattle's offense didn't just get beaten. It got outcoached. The 49ers adjusted. We didn't. And until that changes, it won't matter who's carrying the ball or who's catching passes. This offense has to rediscover its identity, or we're going to keep watching the same painful ending over and over again. Seahawks fans, do you think the problem is Darnold, or is it the play calling? Should Kubiak change the entire offensive approach heading into Week 2? Let me know in the comments, I want to see where you stand. Let's be honest, this game was lost in small moments that added up. One of the biggest problems was how we failed to take advantage of the things we set up early. A pass bounces off a lineman, A.J. Barner somehow comes down with it, and Elijah Arroyo catches one ball and disappears the rest of the game. Those are plays you must turn into momentum. Instead, we let them slip away. If Seattle had stuck with the run, especially with Zach Charbonnet doing the damage he did early, the whole offense would have opened up. Play action would have been lethal. Sam Darnold could have used the flood concept and had real choices, hit Robbie Utes at fullback, find A.J. Barner on the seam, or throw to Elijah Arroyo on the quick out. Instead we got screen after screen after screen that never landed. Screens can work, but only when the defense respects the run first. They didn't respect us. Kenneth Walker did catch a couple balls out of the backfield, but nothing came of it. Cooper Kupp was targeted on a big third down and didn't come down with the catch. That's the kind of play you have to make if you're a veteran brought in to help win games. Torrey Horton is coming off injury and looks rusty, we need more from him. And the tight ends? Barely a factor. 2 catches. That's not enough. This felt like the offense lost its identity in the second half. Clint Kubiak folded when the 49ers adjusted. Robert Saleh made halftime changes and hammered us. Saleh mixed pressure, added bodies in the box, and flustered our line. Why didn't we adjust back? Why didn't we go to the things that worked in preseason, the inside and outside zone runs, the heavy formations, the fullback power that opened lanes against stacked boxes? Rabiot showed in the preseason he can block, he can move defenders, and he can catch out of the backfield and play action. When they crowded the box, he was the exact answer, but we barely used him. Abe Lucas got beat by Nick Bosa, that's on the tape. But you can't just hang a tackle out to dry by abandoning the run and putting him in obvious passing downs all night. When the offense becomes predictable, pass rushers feast. We set our guys up to fail. Now, the tough part on defense. I said instantly after the game that Tariq Woolen might need a benching, and I still worry about that, but let's be fair, when you watch the All-22, he didn't play a total disaster. The problem is the timing of the mistakes. In the two most crucial plays of the game, he had lapses that cost us dearly. On the deep sideline throw, Tariq was in position and jammed the receiver at the line. He was shoulder to shoulder and could have run stride for stride and either broken the pass up or intercepted it. But he stopped a weird hesitation and gave the receiver a small step. The throw was average, but that tiny gap was enough. If Tariq keeps his feet and runs through, that play is ours. Then late, third down, red zone, we were defending with everything on the line. The pass came out under pressure and the receiver had to make a play. Instead of attacking the ball, Tariq jumped back and tried to make an acrobatic interception. He faded away instead of winning the catch point. That was not the ball player we needed in that spot. Those two plays weren't just errors, they were game changers. So yeah, there's a case to be made about sitting him to send a message. But there's also a case to be made for coaching him up and fixing technique. Either way, those mistakes must be corrected fast. Seahawks fans, what do you want to see? Should Tariq Woolen be benched after those two huge mistakes, or do you trust him to bounce back? And on offense, do we hand the job to Charbonnet and run the offense through him, or keep trying to split carries? Drop your vote in the comments, bench or trust, and tell me Charbonnet or split for the running game. Let's see where the fanbase stands. That interception late in the game was the final straw for me. You're taught from Pop Warner, from the first day you ever strap on a helmet, play through the man, attack the ball, don't wait. Tariq Woolen didn't do that. He sat back, let the ball come to him, and it ended in disaster. The 49ers' fifth tight end, a guy most fans couldn't even name, jumped in front of him and stole it. That's unacceptable. Worst case, you knock the ball down and force Jake Moody to try another kick. He'd already missed one and had one blocked. Make him prove he can do it again. But Woolen gave San Francisco a gift, and in my eyes, I can't defend him anymore. I'm done with excuses. If you can't trust a cornerback in the biggest moments, then what's the point? Woolen has size, speed, and talent, but when the lights are brightest, he fades. Seattle has to make a tough choice, either sit him down or ship him out. There's trade value there. Use it. Now, I get it. Injuries are stacking up. Rick Woolen isn't the only concern. Nicky Menner is still banged up with no timetable. That hurts the rotation. But still, there are options. Slide Shockwell Griffin into that nickel spot. Bring up someone hungry. Josh Jobe balled out, leave him starting on the outside. Devin Witherspoon? He's your rock. Keep him at corner. And if you want to gamble, Nehemiah Pritchett looked sharp in preseason. Maybe it's time to give the rookie a chance. Because here's the truth, when Seattle needed Woolen most, he vanished. The two biggest plays of the game slipped right through his fingers, and instead of being a hero, he became a liability. That can't continue if this team wants to win. And now everything comes down to Pittsburgh. If Seattle makes these changes, fixes the play calling, commits to Zach Charbonnet, leans on play action, and benches Woolen, they can beat the Steelers. This roster has enough talent. But if they don't? If they roll into Pittsburgh with the same mistakes? Forget about it. You'll leave that game 0-1, and suddenly the noise about a top 10 draft pick will get louder. Right now, I'm nervous. Not panicking yet, but nervous. On a scale of 1 to 12, I'm sitting at about a 6, maybe a 7. There's still a path to win, but the margin for error is razor thin. Seahawks fans, I need you on this one. How worried are you after this loss? Are you calm at a 1 saying, relax, it's just one bad game? Or are you at a full-blown 12, screaming that the sky is falling and Seattle's headed for the number 1 pick in the draft? Drop your number in the comments, 1 through 12, and let's see how this fan base is feeling right now.